What is going on, guys? Matt here, bringing you the finals of this week's Thursday night Kessel run. We've got Steven on the left playing Iden Mother and Armored Reinforcement. Once again, that is the Outer Rim deck of the week. On the right, we have Jeff playing his version of Han Kira. We saw Steven last round manhandle Matthew in the match. We'll see how he does against Jeff in his version of Han Kira. Both players still working on shuffling, cutting, all those good things. Like we saw last game, we're going to see a lot of quick action with Han Kira. Expect to see weapons loaded up on both characters early. We'll see Steven be methodical and try to lay out his board state early. Here's a roll off. Steven doesn't want anything to do with the Royal Palace. Don't blame him. So we're going to Weapons Factory Alpha. That's going to let him get the Dooku Sailor out for one resource. Jeff puts a shield on Han and one on Kira. Jeff's version of this deck is a little bit different than Matthew's version was last round. He plays a couple of different cards, but for the most part, an HQ deck is similar in its main components. Hyperspace jumps, holdouts, hiddens, X8s. And there's Jeff dropping down the holdout for 2. That'll give him ambush. Alright, so Han rolls out with a 2 range, pay 1 on the hidden. On the holdout, excuse me, and a blink. I'm sorry, that's a 1 range, a 2 range, and a resource. Okay, Iden rolls out with a 2 focus and a discard. Jeff immediately rolls in Kira with a 2 range and a 3 range, pay 1. Jeff showing a lot of damage early, but doesn't have the resources to pay for most of it. Steven's already going to have to look at ways to mitigate 1 or 2 of these die. Okay, so he's going to deflect the 3. With it rounded up, that'll put 2 into Han. So 1 goes on the shield and 1 goes on to Han himself. Okay, there's looks like a quick 4 into Mother. Sailor comes out. 2 shields. Steven will draw the card. Both of these players are some of our top level players here in our local group. Both very thoughtful of their actions, making sure they play the right cards, right combos. I see a bait and switch in Jeff's hand. Right now, that's going to be nullified because of Iden's ability with both her dice in the pool. Jeff did go ahead and resolve the Han die for the resource. I think we saw an indifferent in there as well, so that'll bring indifferent on board. He can remove any one of Steven's die. Okay, Mother rolls out. We get a 2 range, a 1 range. There's a flip on the DH-17. I don't think he'll change either the damage size. There's no need to change a die for 1 damage. So he'll either change an Iden die, or he'll change the Dooku probably to resources, and that's what he does. Go ahead and trying to ramp up his resources early to get additional supports on the field, or get more upgrades on Mother and Iden. Jeff goes ahead and discards. Picks. Gets a force jump out of Steven's hand. Force jump in a deck like against a deck like HQ, I'm not sure is the best call. I mean, it's a great card in general. It needs to be played in decks. I think its potency is less in a deck such as HU, which is so fast moving and is going to try to get out ahead of you. So Steven will pay 1 for the energy bow. Originally puts it on Mother, but changes his mind and decides to put it on Iden. That's probably the correct play. All right, there's a 1 for the indifferent to remove the focus on Iden's die. Here's 3 more into Han. That'll put Han at 8 health. Jeff will go ahead and claim. Steven will just discard one of his cards. He gets an easy pickings. There's an early Witch Magic. He does hit on 3 odds. Mother will now be at 1. She's got 8 health left. Iden is full health with an energy bow. Kira full health with a shield. And Han has a holdout blaster, but is at 8 health remaining. So we'll go on to round 2. I think one difference in these decks is Jeff wants to play the upgrade this round and roll out the upgrade this round and resolve it this round, while Steven will roll out what he has currently in the round and then wait for resources to ramp up for the next round. So Jeff will roll out Han. He'll hit a 2 range, a 2 pay 1, and a blank. He does have the resources able to pay on that 2 on the blaster. There's a best defense. He's going to go ahead and take those. So he's going to pay 1 to deal 3 instead of 4. But it does take 2 dice out of the pool. Jeff not getting many upgrades out on the board early. Kira rolls out with a blank and a resource. There's a Feel Your Anger. I think you take the Han die and you take one of the Kira dice. Yep. That's a correct play. Han's indirect, or his special ability. Jeffrey rolls. It's a 3 pay 1 on Kira, it looks like. Here's Iden with a 2 focus, 1 range, and a 2 range. Jeff will go ahead and pay the 1. He'll do 3 into Mother. Puts her at 5 health remaining. Sailor comes out with a blank, but Steven gets to draw the card. And just like that, Jeff's turn is pretty much over. He can mitigate. He still has a resource to mitigate some dice. He'll go ahead and pass. Let Steven do a focus. He focuses the bow to a +2, and he focuses the sailor to a 2 resource, so he's showing 4 damage. He's going to let Jeff will pass again, let Steven resolve for 2. And once again, like we talked about earlier, Steven's going to try to set up his board state now. Mother has not activated yet, so this round he should be okay to roll in everything, and he does. Mother rolls a disrupt, a shield, 2 range, 1 focus. He immediately changes the second energy bow to a +2. Plenty of damage on the field. Looks as if Jeff has just claimed. Steven uses a focus to wipe Han off the board. The holdout blaster will redeploy to Kira. And we set off for round 3. It's looking very similar to round 2 with an early Han kill. Board state for Steven in much better shape than Jeff's Kira. See if Jeff can respond. Better he discards a hidden blaster. He does have 3 resources, so hyperspace jump is in play. Okay, Kira activates. And that's what Kira can do. Has a solo character. 3 pay 1, 3 pay 1 in a 2 range. And there's the other best defense. Now that's a great best defense. Basically taking 1 die off the board and eating the other one. Jeff continues to put more damage on Mother. Steven will roll out the Sailor with 2 shields. Draw his card. There's a double cross in Jeff's hand. We saw a hyperspace jump. He's pulling it to the front. This may not be a bad time to use it. You have the resources to do it. You've already pretty much used up your turn. I don't think there's any need to... Yep, that's a smart play. You don't want Tac-Mac in Steven's hand, if he had it, to roll out and be able to resolve damage using Mother's ability. Play it safe and move on to the next round, which is what he does. We saw Steven. Yep, and there it is. Looks like there's the tactical mastery. So Steven would have been able to roll out Mother and get plenty of damage on Kira. So what a great play by Jeff. Going to round 4, Jeff will roll out Kira to start with a resource, a +2, and a blank. Steven throws out a Iden with 2 range, and a resource. There's an easy pickings. That gets Iden's dice off the board and makes her ability inept for the rest of the round. Right, Steven takes a resource on the bow. There's a bait and switch. That would not have been able to work had Iden been in the pool. So Jeff got a good play with the easy pickings. Got Iden's dice off the board. Able to bait and switch, get rid of Mother. And because Steven has taken 2 best defenses to Iden already, there's 6 health left. Steven does have a probe in his hand. Can't see any other cards right off. But with Mother off the table now, Steven's action is, for the most part, done. They're debating on the Sailor. Yeah, the Sailor has not been rolled out this round. Okay, so he'll probe Jeff, try to get some of that mitigation out. And he hits. Gets it entangled. Jeff will claim. Stay ahead. Blank on the Dooku Sailor. Steven draws his card. Steven will pay 3 for Phasma's Blaster on Iden. It's a card we haven't seen much action with here recently. And there's the second Witch Magic. 1, 2, 3. All 3 are odds. Iden back down to 3 health. But both Witch Magics are gone. So Jeff just needs to plow through 9 health. Get a reroll on the Dooku Sailor. Gets with shield. And we move on to the next round. This will be round 5. This will be Jeff's action first. There's a quick draw to a hidden blaster. That'll remove the shield. He'll be able to activate and resolve. Gets some damage. Gets a 2 range, a 2 range, a 1 range, and a blank. And with the ability to resolve, he puts it all into Iden. She's at 4 health now. Jeff won't be able to kill Iden this round. Max he can do is 3. Unless he played a Relentless Pursuit. It's a card we saw a lot of action with during the Afra Executioner period. He's going to go ahead and just pin that down. That did roll damage. So here comes the Sailor. Being thrown all over the place. Jeff will just pass. Now one thing to note here, when Jeff hyperspace jumped, he did not change the battlefield as he is able to do. I would think you would want to change that battlefield to be able to have feed and get the extra resource each turn. But instead, Iden rolls out, gets a +2, a 2 range, a +2, a blank, and a resource. So Steven will discard a reroll, trying to get max damage. Most he can get is 10 here. That only puts Iden at 11. Steven discarding, trying to get that focus side. Throws away Hidden Motive and a Force Illusion. But he does do 10 damage. Without no allegiance, Kira would be dead. She has 1 health remaining, however. And we go on to round 6. See a drop in there, another hyperspace jump from Jeff. So because Jeff did not change the battlefield earlier, he cannot use the ability on drop in. He can activate the character, but he cannot use the ambush feature. Had he changed the battlefield earlier, then that would be an easy play. Instead, he'll just roll out Kira. Gets a +2 resource, a 3 range, pay 1, a 1 range, and a resource. So that's enough damage. Steven looking through the discard pile, trying to see what Jeff has or has not used. One thing to notice here, Steven's deck is starting to get a little bit low. He's used a lot of cards to discard to reroll, especially for the Sailor, trying to get the focus ads on it. At one point, this looked like this was going to be a blow-away for Steven. But Kira does Kira things. Simple bait and switch took out Mother. Steven plays an at odds. Lets him remove the three die. Puts it at the bottom of his deck. Jeff goes ahead and takes the money. Steven, I think, knows why. He wants to try to get that hyperspace jump out of his hand, so he'll probe. He gets an indifferent, and he gets a drop in. So he doesn't hit the hyperspace. One thing Jeff needs to remember to do is to make sure hyperspace is put in the set-aside area, not technically in your discard zone. We saw that last week as well with... we saw that in round 2 earlier. Matthew did not do that. So Jeff shoots one into Iden. Iden not activated yet, but already down to 3 health. Jeff's action is pretty much done. I don't think Steven has Tactical Mastery. If he did, he would have already played it. He has the resource to play it. And with his mini die sides that show damage, he'd be able to resolve that, because all he needs is one range to kill her. Okay, so Steven decides he wants to claim. He wants to go first. He wants to get Iden's die probably into the pool. He's also probably trying to look for attack mastery. So Jeff passes. Jeff has plenty of money now. He has $7. Steven has 3. Jeff's going to get rid of a he doesn't like you. I just saw a quick draw there from Jeff, but that's not going to help him. Iden rolls out. We get a 2 range, a 2 range, a 1 range, a 2 focus, and a 1 shield. It's a whole lot of damage. Okay, so Jeff's gonna quick draw into the X8, which has ambush, but he cannot use the ambush because of Iden's dice ability. I think that's what they're explaining right now. So quick draw will allow him to activate the character because it's inherent in the card. It's not an ambush action. And it doesn't say take an additional action. It just says you may activate that character. But because he played X8, which has ambush, he can roll out the dice into the pool, but he cannot resolve any of those dice because that would take up the ambush action. So they're talking it over right now. And real quick, just to go over that one more time, quick draw says you play a weapon from your hand. Of course, you pay its cost. And then the additional text says you may activate that character. Because it doesn't say ambush or take an additional action. That is not an ambush portion. So Jeff could activate Kira with the X8 sniper. Because the X8 sniper has ambush, that would in theory allow him to resolve any dice he wanted to in that case. But with Iden's die in the pool, he can't do that. So it looks like Jeff is going to take that back. Okay, Jeff going for $3 now. Decides to play it in the crosshairs. He's going to call range and get all the range die out of the pool. Once again, in the crosshair says ambush, but Iden's die is in the pool still. One of them is. So he cannot use the ambush portion on that. So he can take the range side out, which he does. But it'll be Steven's turn now. Steven's still showing a focus on Iden. Okay, so he's going to use the focus to put the range in. Now quick draw and everything's available to him. He doesn't even need to quick draw. He could actually, well, he would need a quick draw in order to activate. Okay, so he pays 2 for the sniper. Ooh, and he plays arm to the teeth. What a gut-wrenching move. Arm to the teeth once again. Discard any number of upgrades from a yellow character to deal damage to the opposing character. So because he had 3 upgrades, he was able to do 3 damage, which is what he needed to take the game. Congratulations to Jeff and Han Kira for taking this week's Thursday Night Kessel run. Jeff will be our Smuggler of the Week. Steven will have more info about his deck of the week coming up shortly. Once again, guys, check out our YouTube page and our Twitter at Outer Rim Games. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next week.